Hey there, it's Mackenzie here. Welcome to this video. Today we're answering the question, how do I get a job without experience? Why are we answering this question? Because I get this question all the time. So let's get into it. Why should you watch this video? You should watch this video if you're a student or a graduate looking to land a job. You don't have much work experience, or you're just finding this whole process really difficult. And why should you listen to me? Well, I've helped my clients land over 120 job and internship offers so far across a range of different industries, business, IT, and engineering mainly, and worldwide. I've also had some experience myself, over 4 years of consulting and startup experience at companies like KPMG and Uber, if you've heard of those. And I've also been successful in landing 6 internships and 3 jobs during university. On top of that, I've actually had a bit of experience hiring and managing over 20 people at startups. So without further ado, here are the 4 steps you can take to land a job without experience. So it all starts with step 1. Step 1 is simple. You've got to define what your dream job is. What is your dream job? Where do you want to be? And there's lots of ways of figuring this out. You have to understand yourself, and you also have to understand what is available in the market today. You have to really understand this stuff. And once you do that research, you've got to figure out what kind of organizations, what kind of job titles, what kind of teams, and what kind of industries do I want to work in? And you've got to define these things. Make it really clear. Set a really clear objective. And it doesn't just have to be one company. Although some of my clients come to me, they say, Mackenzie, I have to work at Deloitte. And that's their dream company, or PwC, or Google, whatever it is. And that's great if you want to work there. That's awesome. But it doesn't have to be that specific. You can have it a little bit wider. You can catch a wider range of jobs with your net. But that's step 1. You've got to do that. Step 2. You've got to find what I call the lowest entry point. Why is this important? Well, let me explain. So imagine you've got your dream job over here. So you can see this is exactly where I want to be in the next maybe 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever that dream job is. But here's the thing. Often that job will require experience. So say you're looking for a entry-level engineering job. Although it's entry level, some of these jobs might actually require experience. So you might see in the job description it says 1 to 2 years of experience. And some jobs might not require any years of experience. But it depends. It depends on what your dream job is. If it does require experience, here's what you do. All you have to do is you have to define exactly what experience you need to get that job. So say for this engineering job we're talking about, if you've done your research on this organization and you know that to be a very valuable candidate there, you have to have, say, a year of experience doing X. You've got to then write that down. So you know to get to your dream job, first, you might actually have to take a step first before you can get there. Okay, so you have to define what that is. And what I call this is a second order dream job. So it's not your dream job yet, but you know, based on your research, based on what a really good candidate looks like at your dream company, if you do get this experience or this next second order job, then you'll become so valuable that getting into your dream job will be a very realistic next step. If there's experience required. If for your dream job there's no experience required and you've done your research, you know that people who work there, you can meet those requirements 100%, then or not necessarily 100%, but you can meet them quite well, then great. Go for your dream job right now. Why are you watching this video? But if you do require experience, define that second order dream job. So you know what you have to do first to then get to that dream job in the future. For example, if you want to be a senior manager at Google, okay, you can't get there right away. So maybe you have to figure out what do senior managers at Google do to get there? Well, if you research 50 senior managers at Google, you'll see the trends. You'll see how they get to where they were. So work backwards, find that second order dream job, and set that as your new target. Now, ask yourself the same question again with that second order job. If experience is still required to get there, say to get to become a senior manager at Google, you actually already need to become, say a manager at some sort of tech company, whatever it is, or maybe just an analyst for a couple of years. Okay, you've got to, I'm just making this up, but you've got to define what this is for you. And say, for example, let's take it back a step. If you're looking for an entry-level engineering role and you found that to get that role with 1 or 2 years of experience, most people have already had, say, an internship in engineering for about 3 to 6 months, sometimes even up to 12 months of experience, just as an example. Now, your second order dream job is to get one of those internships, right? To get there, because everyone who's getting those results and a valuable candidate for them looks like someone with internship experience. I'm not saying you have to go and get that experience. There are definitely ways to get jobs by breaking the mold, by not necessarily having exactly what they're looking for, but still delivering them the right kind of value in the right way, having the right kind of relationships. But say we are trying to become a really valuable candidate, this is what you will do. So say your second order job now is to get an internship at a certain type of company. And when you do your analysis, you'll figure out what types of companies these are. So you can target similar types of companies to get your internship at, because your dream company like people with that kind of experience. So now imagine to get those internships, they're also very competitive. Maybe to get those internships, they're choosing people, everyone who's gotten one of those internships before has maybe some experience in customer service, or maybe they've done a certain qualification, or maybe they've run a business, or maybe they've done a project of sorts, or a virtual internship, or something like that. You then have to define what experience it is that you need to get that internship. And basically what we do here is we keep going until we find, that lowest entry point, the point at which you can start today. And what can you aim for right now today to then in 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, or 4 steps get your dream job? But say, for example, you look at this second order dream job and it's an internship at an engineering company. You've defined what that looks like. And you can get it right away, great. Go and get the job now. You don't have to get more experience to get that job. You just have to get that job or that internship right now. But the more you can just break this down. So basically what you want to do is you want to break it down again and break it down again. And you continue doing this until you find that lowest entry point. Okay, so it's really breaking that dream job down into steps that you can take, almost like stepping stone jobs or internships. So when you do this well, you should be really clear about what you can do right now to realistically get your dream job. So for that engineering example I talked about before, maybe the real goal here is, how do I get an internship at one of these types of engineering companies? Maybe that's your next goal, because everyone at your dream company, and even though it's an entry-level engineering role, they've all got a year of experience in engineering, and that's what they define as a good candidate. If you really want to impress them and become a good candidate, then that's what you can do. And remember, there's a lot of information out there. When you look at job descriptions, they might say 1 to 2 years of experience, or they might say entry-level job, no experience required. But if people are applying to that job who have 1 year of internship experience before, then you're at a disadvantage. So it's really important to just figure out, what does your dream company want realistically for the specific position. And you can find this out in tons of different ways. I've done different videos on this, but you can go and talk to people, you can research, you can look at LinkedIn and analyze these things. When you do that, you can become really clear about what job you need to get next. And that's what I mean by finding the lowest entry point. So you continue with this approach until you find the lowest entry point. It's simple as that. Now, once you've found the lowest entry point, you go to step 3, which is chasing the lowest entry point relentlessly. So you want to hit that lowest entry point, get that job as quickly as you can, or get to that level of experience as quickly as you can. And so how do you do this? Well, one way is to become more valuable. And I'll kind of give you some tips on this a little bit later. But basically what I mean is, say to get the job or the internship you want, people tend to have experience in, say, engineering or some sort of internship. There are ways to become more valuable without actually getting another job or another, a internship with another company. And there's lots of ways you can become more valuable. You can do qualifications, you can set up your own projects, you can do virtual internships, and I'm going to go through some of these later with you. So that's one option. You just become more valuable by taking on these different projects, creating these little projects using these different hacks so that you can become valuable and get results and get that job or internship without actually getting another one, because you're becoming valuable on your own. And I'll give you more tips on that shortly. Another way is to attack this lowest entry point job or that next step job is using that advertised job approach. So you can find job ads or internship ads on the internet, on job websites, on company websites, all of these different places. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Find them, have a really good method of approaching these people and getting these advertised jobs. You can secure them, but you also can go the hidden job approach. And this is something that when I last ran the numbers, 40% of the offers my clients landed were from the hidden approach and 60% were from advertised. And the hidden is when you forget about job ads entirely. All you think about is, where do you want to work? And you go straight to that organization, you build the right relationships, and you use a specific strategy to create jobs. So that's what you do. You go for this lowest entry point, because once you go for that entry point and you secure that internship or that job, you can then move up the ladder to your dream job. And step 4 is move up the ladder. So say, for example, you realize that you need to before you get your dream job, the lowest entry point for you is this 4th order job. And maybe that is an internship. Maybe it's an entry-level job somewhere else. You've got to figure out, where do you really add value in the market? What can you realistically get right now? Boom. Say you get that. The next thing you have to do is simple, right? You've got to find the 3rd order one. So you've got to use this analogy. Once you've done this analysis, and you've got to jump up this ladder. Tick, you've got it. And you go to your 3rd job. Then you find the 2nd order job, just before you can get to your dream job. Boom, you've got it, tick. And then once you've taken all these steps, you've gone up the ladder, you can then land your dream job. So you now go from someone who has had no experience and who has found the lowest entry point into this, essentially the pathway to your dream job. And you've jumped onto that lowest entry point, and now you're taking that ladder up. But you've got to find that lowest entry point first before you can jump up the ladder. Some people, they go straight to the dream job. So they know it requires a year or 2 of experience, and they complain that they can't get it because they say it's entry level, but it's not. But really, if you're competing against people who have a year or 2 of experience, even though it may not seem fair, and arguably it isn't, it's just supply and demand economics. So you've got to think ahead, think strategically, and it all comes back down to, how well do you understand the companies you want to work at and exactly what they think is valuable? And where do you fit in? And what's the next step? The lowest entry point. And then you can do it. You can get your dream job. And this probably is not going to be a view people will enjoy, but it's realistic. This is being realistic here. And just to really point out here, this does not mean that you have to just go for some job that's perfect for you right now. I believe you should be stretching for a job that's challenging, that you're not quite 100% ready for, but you can get, but you've got to find that balance. And if you can get to your dream job without taking all these steps, don't bother doing that. Try and just get it straight away. But if you want to hedge your bets, you want to make consistent progress towards your dream job, this is an approach you can take. But you don't want to accomplish a goal in 10 years that could have been completed in 1. Okay, so that's how you get to your dream job without experience. And I was going to finish the video here, but I thought I'd give you some bonus hacks for becoming valuable. Earlier, I said one way of landing that, that lowest entry point job or internship is to become valuable. So here are some hacks you can use to get experience today without anyone's permission. The first thing's virtual internships. Just type in virtual internship online. There are lots of companies that are doing it. One in particular that I know of is called Forage. They seem particularly great. They've got a whole range of different internships on there. You can sign up for them today and you can start getting experience. I've had clients who have done multiple internships and instantly it gets they've got some experience there, some real life experience on their resume. Even though it's a virtual internship, you do real work for real companies. And because they work with big brands, you can get those big brand names on your resume. And I've had clients who have gone from getting no interviews in their field to getting tons of interviews in their field by strategically using virtual internships to become valuable before going there. They've done a lot of other things, but this is one way to become valuable without having to go and get an internship, a hidden internship or advertise one. Number 2 is friends and family. So sometimes the easiest thing for you to do is think about what is the lowest hanging fruit. What do you have available to you right this second? What do you have available to you? And when you map it out, so say you get out a piece of paper, you map out all the people you know, your friends, your family, your acquaintances, your colleagues. You write all these people down, and then next you look at this mind map and you see who here works in this industry or has connections in this industry or can help me in some way. More often than not, you've got at least one person who can help you, who has a connection or who runs a business, and you've got to think outside the box here. But this is a really powerful way. One of my clients got a job in finance extremely quickly because when she did this did this brainstorm, she was able to identify the right people and get something very, very fast. And guess what? This led to them getting incredible jobs a year down the line or 6 months down the line. Amazing jobs, graduate roles at consulting companies in finance. So really good tactic here, good little hack. Number 3 is project creation. And what does this mean? Well, you don't need permission to demonstrate your skills. So if you know that the organization you want to work at wants you to have, say, they want you to be really good at quantitative modeling, or they want you to be able to build quantitative finance models. You don't need permission to come in there, build one, and get an internship before you can showcase them that. Yes, it'd be great to get some real experience at a top company, but instead, you could just create your own quant trading model. You could build it using all the techniques that they use in that business, and you could retrospectively see how it would have performed in the market over the last 20 years, and you could continue to run it every day to see how it will perform each day in the future. For example, I'm just shooting ideas here, but that's one way of doing it. Another way is to actually do a project within a business. So say, for example, you know someone who runs a business, or you have a family friend who runs a business. And maybe you want to get into accounting. You could say, hey, do you mind if I have a look at your accounting, or I work with your accountant, or can I have a crack at drafting up your financial statements? Do you mind? And you can create these little projects for yourself. You don't have to go to a company that's big or anything like that. You can create your own projects, whether it's your own live project that you're doing from home. You can write a report, you can build a model, you can build a spreadsheet, build a program, and that can go on your resume. You can talk about that when you talk to people and you have chats, or you can go and create one in a business. Another way to do it is actually within a job. So say, for example, you work in a customer service job. You could say to the manager, hey, I know I'm working customer service, but I'm really interested in marketing. I've got some really good ideas for the business about how you can increase your sales. Because I work here all the time, I really understand this business well and what customers want. Would you like me to draft something up for you? And I'm almost certain the manager will go, yes, I definitely want to increase my sales. Tons of ways you can do this stuff, guys. There's no excuses. Number four, create a business. Okay. When I was at university, I created two businesses. And did they make a bit of money? One of them did, one of them didn't, but not much. And what did it teach me though? It taught me everything to do with running a business. How to set up the ABN, the business number, the company name, how to do the financials, all this stuff. marketing, sales, operations, supply chain, sourcing, all this stuff it can teach you. And some of my best clients, they've had their own little businesses that they run. And the employers love it because they can demonstrate really, really good skills. And they've often got very good communication skills and problem solving skills as a result. And it's not that hard to create a business. It doesn't even need to be profitable. Just create, if this is relevant, create a business that's relevant to the skills you want to gain. Even if it's a not-for-profit business, you're not even thinking about profit. One of my clients, he was a UX UI designer. And what did he do to get experience? He started his own UX UI company. And he was doing some gigs for amazing small companies. And then when he goes to apply for the big thing, he is well ahead of everyone else. And he actually did make money from that as well. Really good option. You don't need permission to start a business. 5 is freelance. There's tons of sites you can freelance on. Upwork, freelancer.com, Airtasker. You can even use, there's tons of options basically. So you don't have to ask for anyone's permission to freelance. You can also freelance for connections, friends, family. Okay, there's tons of ways to do this stuff. And pick something relevant. 6, volunteer. You can volunteer in so many ways. You can go and volunteer. If you just type in on the internet, volunteering, and you type in the field that you're in, volunteer software engineering, I guarantee there's volunteering for that as well. At cool companies as well, not-for-profits. There's a website that our clients have used before called volley, I think, .com.au. They've got tons of projects on there. They've got marketing, IT, they got, I think, software development, all these sorts of things. And you can, yes, it's not paid, but you can get that experience, become a great candidate, and get the job you want. So there are 6 bonus hacks, extremely powerful hacks that you can take away today and use if you have no experience and you want to get your dream job. And once you do all those things, you find that lowest entry point. Okay, you know what dream job you want, you find the lowest entry point, you figure out how to get into that lowest entry point, and then you jump the ladder and you use these hacks. Well done. Because congratulations, you did it. You landed your dream job. Amazing. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thank you very much for checking this out, and I hope it was really valuable for you. I'd love any feedback that you've got. Feel free to get in touch. If you're looking for more free content, please feel free to check out my website, or if you'd like to work together, the best place to check it out is mygradjobs.com.au. Thanks again. I hope it was useful. Have a brilliant day and good luck. See you guys.